What's up, guys? Welcome back to FishOfHex. My name is Travis. In today's video we're going to be doing an update on the 300 gallon, also looking at the frag tank and the 40-gallon shallow reef. Now, this wasn't the video I planned on doing today. I was actually in the middle of doing a voiceover with some Q&As and also working on our identifying and troubleshooting dying coral video. But it looks like I'm not going to be able to record that until either tonight after Spike eats all his crickets, or until everybody goes to bed and it's finally quiet enough, because the mic picks up everything and it's very difficult to record. So on my to-do list, build a recording booth or something where I can really remove some of the sound. But anyway, I figured it'd be a good opportunity to look at the 300 gallon, talk about some of the things I like, dislike, and also look at that 40-gallon shallow reef and talk about some of the upcoming videos for that. So right off the bat, over the last few days, I've noticed that the coralline algae on the bottom right-hand side, not so much the left, has started to turn white, basically indicating that it's dying. Now, I double-checked my alkalinity, which was the very first thing I did, just because usually alkalinity drops or fluctuations will kill off the coralline first and then start working on the coral. Now, alkalinity was fine. It went from 8.7 to 8.5. Again, that's a little lower than the 9 that I like to keep the tank at, but it's still not a big fluctuation over a week and a half, so I'm not really too worried about it. As for the reason why, probably because the growth that I've gotten. Like I said, it was at 9, the elk, and then it just, the tank goes through ups and downs of fluctuations. Sometimes I'm getting perfect nutrients and the growth is off the charts, and then of course I have to make up with it with the alkalinity being lower. And then sometimes I just am not paying attention to the tank and things aren't the way they should and the growth isn't as good. So I think with the nutrients being in the correct ratio, I got a lot of growth and just basically caused the alkalinity to drop a little bit, and that's why the coralline is dying. Now, it'll recover. I mean, there's plenty of it in the tank. The back glass is full. And yes, I will clean it at some point, but it's pretty difficult. You can see that there's not much room between the coral and the back glass, and it's definitely a pain in the ass to go in there and scrape it off. But I will admit, it looks better when the back glass is clean, black. It really helps the tank pop and the overall color look pretty good. So I'll do that sometime between now and when I take the tank down, I suppose. Other than that, everything seems to be pretty good. I'm ready to start cutting coral for this tank and putting it in the 40-gallon breeder. There's a lot of corals that are just about to touch. If I can get around these fish, maybe not. Right here, we have our stag touching the millie. I want to cut that before it gets any worse. You guys, come over here. Over here, get away from the camera so I can show people. Also, we have our purple acro that I want to cut before it touches a millie. Just little things there that I plan on trimming and putting in the new 40-gallon tank. Also, you can see that this rainbow millie colony is completely gone. I talked about it STNing because it was getting attacked from the Monty, the Digi, and this acropore, plus being shaded by this acro. So that is one of many colonies that will be going in that new tank. It's definitely a bare spot. It took me a few days to get used to it, but everything seems to be growing in and kind of filling in the area. Now, I was actually thinking about rotating some of these rock structures to be able to get back there and clean the glass, and I was thinking about that the other day when I was looking at it, but when I went to go move it, it's just not possible. The structures are kind of fused together with corals here between the Montes and the bird's nest. Also in the back there, they're getting kind of close between the Monte and the stylo. And there's a very beautiful plating acro that is never seen because it's just in the back. That will be, or a piece of that will be going to the new tank. I forgot the name of it, but it's pretty darn good looking, and it's unfortunately it's just in the back of the tank where you really can't see it. But yeah, a coral that I'm having an issue with, that it's a good seller. I've had it in all my tanks, but it's just becoming a real problem in this one, and that is this purple Montipora. As you can see, it's taking out the acro here. It's hitting the Setosa. It's getting messed up by the Favia. Thank God it's losing that one, but it's also attacking the pink lemonade. It killed the bird's nest. I used to have a whole bunch of bird's nests right there, dead, and it's just kind of working its way over. So I have it there. As you can see, it's taken over. But I also have it down here where it's losing the battle with the Lobo. It killed an acro. There actually used to be a very beautiful acro right there, and it's yeah, it's gone. So I like the coral. It's very pretty, but I'll probably never put it in any more of my main display tanks, at least not a permanent tank or one that I feel that I'm going to have for a long time, just because it grows super fast, and you can see it unless you're a Favia or something that can sting, it's going to win. It's killing all the SPS. There's not one SPS that I've seen it win or seen it lose to. Only LPS have been able to keep it at bay. So yeah, love the coral, but it's just a huge pain in the ass. Now, give you guys a side shot of the growth. Tank is taking off. And I definitely have to get in here and start cutting soon, especially on this back wall. But yeah. So let's go ahead and move over to our 40-gallon tank, and we'll talk about kind of what's going on with that. Here's our frag tank with our new Kessel A3 or 360Xs, and we'll do a whole video on that set up soon. Now, as you guys can see, I have the 4 AI Prime HDs, or HD Primes, whatever you want to call them. I have 4 of them over this tank. They're at 100%, and the light has been on for about 5 or 6 days, and you can see that I'm getting a little bit of a brown film diatom on the glass. Totally normal. The rocks are getting a little bit of a brown film. Again, totally normal. I'm going to probably throw in a couple snails in here, either turbos or another type, just probably in the next couple weeks or so before we start putting coral in. Haven't really decided exactly when I'm going to do that. I kind of want to wait for this little mini diatom bloom to go away. Again, it's nothing crazy. It's not going to be algae or anything insane. It's just a little bit of a diatom bloom, and that's because of the light is on the rock. Now, if you guys remember, I did wait at least a couple weeks before even turning the lights on. I think it was like 2.5 weeks, something like that, before I even put any lights on. And that was so that bacteria film could build up on the rock, and that's exactly what it did. So, as you guys can see, I do have some colonies down in the tank, and I only did this so they can get used to the light. There is a lot more power over this tank than there is over my frag system, so I wanted to put these colonies in here just to get used to the light before I cut them and put them up on the rock structure. Now, this tank is going to be really full of acros. I'm not going to spread them out as much as I did in the 300 because this is going to be a working display. Yes, I'm going to have it grow out so it looks decent, but I'm going to do the majority of my fragging from this tank. So if I grow them close together, it doesn't really matter because they're going to be fragged out anyways, and of course sold on the website. Now, I'm thinking probably in the next week, I'm going to clean this glass one more time, see how long it takes for the diatoms to come back, because the main display doesn't really get any kind of nonsense on the glass. It takes a long, long time. But I'm going to wait to see how long it takes for the tank to get a little bit dirty, see if the rocks clear up over the next week, and then we're going to come in here and start adding our acropora. Basically what I'm going to do is just go over to the 300, cut out the pieces of the colonies that I want to keep and grow in this tank, like good sellers. A lot of the staghorns that are growing and fast and selling really well on the website. Of course, I'm going to want to put those in this tank so I can grow more of them. And then we're just going to kind of put them in places where I think they're going to grow well with either shelving acros or again staghorns or the other types. So we'll see how it all plays out. Now that video is going to include the installation of the lights. I'll show you guys the schedule, show you everything that's going on with the PAR and the overall intensity and spectrum. I'll show you guys all that on this tank. And we'll add the coral in the same video just because I don't want to spread it out and make the series too long. So we'll do lighting and coral in the same video. Now, other than that, everything is looking good. The imported frag system, I'm getting used to going down to 2 tanks. And, ooh, that is not focused. There we go. I'm getting used to having only 2 tanks. It's an issue because it's like taking half the coral away. The website's kind of suffering because I don't have as much on there, but it's still, you know, this time of the year, there isn't a ton going on. A lot of the coral sales are in November, you know, when it's colder and everything is a little bit easier for shipping. But going to 2 tanks is a little bit of an issue. I'm having a problem putting coral because this is where all the corals stay while it's being processed or healed, and then pictures get taken, and then it goes up to the WYSIWYG racks where then it goes on the website and it gets sold out that way. So yeah, it's a little bit of a problem, but this is the route I wanted to go, and of course with everything that we do and we change in life, sometimes it takes a little bit to adjust. So that system's doing pretty good. Let me see here. I do want to show you guys the new, I guess, Lizzardscape for Spike, which I might as well take off the gel filter, and I'll head over to Spike and give you guys a quick glimpse of that, and then I'll do a full video on his whole setup probably next week. So let me go ahead and take the filter off and head over there. Alright, so here's a quick look at Spike's new 40-gallon tank. Now, I went ahead and used the excavator clay. There's a lot of mixed reviews online, but from what I read, it went into the forums and looked at some of the Q&As and stuff. People find this to be pretty successful for bearded dragons, even babies. They're not really eating it, which is the problem with sand when they become impacted and they die and all that sorts of stuff. But he's not licking it or going after it or anything. It's completely hard. It's like a rock. And as you can see, he's just chilling up there. Yo, leave me alone. Yeah, he likes it so far. I really like the way it was set up, where he can go up here and get his temp, get his heat and all that good stuff. And at night, because the heat's kind of going through the clay and warming it up, he can go into this tunnel here, which actually allows you to see him down here. And he sleeps at night. And then if he wants to get away from the heat, he can come over here and kind of do the same thing. Where he can get up on the log to cool down, and also go inside this tunnel to cool down as well. So it gives him the ability to go wherever he wants in the terrarium. I guess that's what they call it now. Not really aquarium, but a terrarium. He can do whatever he wants, and there's plenty of room where he can live in here for quite a while. I think it's going to take several years for him to outgrow this. Of course, I'll have to adjust the Lizzardscape while he grows, because he's not going to be able to fit in the holes at a certain point in his life. But he definitely likes it, and like I said, the reason why I haven't been able to do that voiceover is because there's a cricket in there stuck up underneath the wood. You can hear him. And I can't get him out, but it picks it up on the mic, no problem. So, yeah, really happy with this. I know that he really likes it, and seems to be pretty happy. So, also got the 3D printer working on some stuff to help out with that video. I was talking about being able to clean your tank without doing a water change. I'm in the process of designing something that will make that process easy for those of you who either don't have filter socks or a specific sump where you can put mechanical filtration. It's going to make that process a lot easier. So I'm working on that, and it should be out in the next month or so. So yeah, that's about it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's just a quick update, and I will see you Friday with either the Q&A or we'll do the par. I mean, whatever, we'll see. There's definitely going to be a video out between now and Friday. All right, so until then, peace.